Class is in session. MLB Hitting the Book show Friday, August 22nd. Ian Cameron. We'll have C-Mac in the house in just a moment as well, ready to talk Friday. MLB, our last show of the week. One last reminder, again, we had our season premiere college football Hitting the Book show, breaking down all the week 0 games taking place tomorrow on Saturday to kick off the season. So if you missed it, make sure you check out the Hitting the Book show from earlier this week. And of course, we'll be on every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific during the college football season. And boy, it is good to be back. All right, MLB for Friday. Let's get into it. We'll begin with the Colorado Rockies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Antonio Senzatella on the mound for the Rockies. Braxton Ashcraft here for the Pirates. We've got Pittsburgh minus 200, minus 210 home favorites, 8.5 the total in this game. Pirates have a winning record at home, but there's no chance in hell I'm laying north of minus 200 with this team. There's just no way I'm doing that. That being said, give them credit. They took 2 or 3 from the AL East leading Toronto Blue Jays earlier this week at home. And like I said, they played good baseball at home this year. Winning record at PNC Park. Now, is there a little letdown for the Pirates? Perhaps. Ashcraft's not a pitcher I'm comfortable given his results, laying a price like this. And look, Colorado's been playing better lately. They took a series from Arizona. You saw what they did against the Dodgers, splitting 4 games with them earlier this week. So the Rockies showing a little life here. Rockies or pass. I mean, at this price, it's Rockies or pass for me. You either have to take Colorado or leave it alone. It's just, to me, it's just too big of a price for a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. But your guess is as good as mine. I mean, both of these teams could be considered in letdown spots. Rockies played the Dodgers. Pirates played the Blue Jays. Now they're playing each other. You know, it's a very tricky spot. But at this price, it's either you bet Colorado, for me at least, you bet Colorado or you leave the game alone. All right, Washington and Philadelphia. We've got Cavalli on the mound for the Nationals, Taijuan Walker for the Phillies. Philadelphia minus 190 home favorites. The total here, 9 shaded to the over across the board. I think there are runs in this game. Phillies are really hitting the baseball quite well this week. We saw what they were able to do against the Seattle Mariners, really laid waste to the Mariners pitching staff. What do they score? 29 runs in those 3 games. So this offense is definitely heating up. 4 straight games for the Phils have gone over the total. And even the Nationals, you know, they pounded out 14 runs in the last 2 games against the Mets. So, you know, they're hitting the ball pretty well. Cade Cavalli, we'll have to see. I know he was dazzling against this Phillies team just 6 days ago, but you give a lineup like this a second chance to look at Cade Cavalli, and now he has to face this Phillies team in Philadelphia. I think it's going to be a lot tougher for Cade Cavalli here this go-around. Let's not forget he got beaten up by Kansas City in the start before that. So I think the Phillies are going to do a lot more damage here against Cavalli this time around. And like I said, I'm still not the biggest. He continues to mystify me with how solid he's pitched. But like I said, I think Washington will have more success against Taijuan Walker this time around. Like I said, both offenses are in good form. So I'm going to go over the total here with the Nats and the Phillies. All right, let's continue along. We got Boston and New York Yankees. This is the big series, one of the big series of the weekend for sure. The Red Sox get the win in the series opener last night to draw even with the Yankees for second in the AL East. We've got Brian Bayo for the Red Sox and a struggling Max Fried for the New York Yankees. Yankees minus 180, home favorites, 8.5 the total. Give me Boston here, plus 150. I think the value is with them again. Now, I really like Boston yesterday. I thought it was a great spot, too, because the Yankees had to – they apparently flew into New York overnight after that series in Tampa ended. That last game against the Rays went extra innings. The bullpen was depleted. They used a lot of their arms. It was just a really tough spot for the Yankees last night, and Boston took advantage with the 6-3 win. So I don't know if I love the spot nearly as much for Boston tonight, but the value to me is Boston. You know, Max Fried's not a pitcher I trust. Max Fried's not a pitcher I'm laying minus 180 with. You know, Max Fried has allowed 19 runs in his last 4 starts. That's not a guy I'm laying a price like this with. It hasn't been good. 19 runs allowed in his last 21.2 innings. Not what you want to see. And look, Brian Bayo, quietly, I think you can say, has kind of been the better of these 2 pitchers lately. Brian Bayo's given up 2 runs or less in 3 of his last 4 starts. So this is Boston for me at plus 150. I mean, they're worth some kind of bet at this price. And the Yankees don't beat good teams anymore. I mean, Toronto whipped them. They've struggled with Boston this year. They've struggled with every team in the AL East. That's why the Yankees are in this spot. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You sweep St. Louis, you sweep Tampa, you beat Minnesota. Who gives a shit? Seriously. Step up and beat a good team for once. And I still have yet to see the New York Yankees be able to do that. So no chance, none, zero, that I would take the New York Yankees here at this price. Boston or nothing. I actually think it could be an over once again. Both of these bullpens have struggled. So even if Bayo and Fried get out of there unscathed, Boston's bullpen's been taxed. They've kind of been mediocre of late. The Yankee bullpen hasn't been great. It's 8.5. I think definitely we could see this game get up and over the total. And again, the defense continues to let the Yankees down. How many errors did they have last night? 4. Unacceptable. They keep playing horrendous team defense, and it continues to cost them. All right, Houston and Baltimore next up. We've got even money both sides, 9.5 the total. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for the Astros, and Cade Povich. You are not the father. Cade Povich on the mound here for the Baltimore Orioles. I don't trust McCullers. Now, Houston walloped Baltimore last night. Give them credit. The bats finally came to life in that game. Lean over here at 9.5. I lean Baltimore. I don't have a strong opinion on this game, but I do favor Povich just a little bit more over McCullers. And prior to the loss last night, Baltimore was playing some solid baseball. They were winning some games. Their offense has started to hit. So I do lean Baltimore, lean to the over. I don't feel overly strong about either, but certainly would consider going in that direction as far as this game goes here tonight. All right, we've got Kansas City and Detroit. We've got Ryan Bergert for the Royals, Casey Mize for the Detroit Tigers. Detroit currently around a minus 150 home favorite here. The total in that 8.5 range across the board. The Royals, of course, with a solid series for them against Texas. They take 3 of 4 from the Rangers. They sweep the White Sox. 8-2 now, the Royals, in their last 10 games. But Detroit is also playing some equally very strong baseball, an identical 8-2 for the Detroit Tigers in their last 10 games. Bergert actually hasn't been that bad. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Bergert, going back to when he was with San Diego. But he's allowed 2 runs or less in 5 straight starts. He's given his team a chance to win. Now, he doesn't give you any length. He only goes 4 or 5 innings for the most part. So you are going to see a decent amount of this Royals bullpen. Meanwhile, Casey Mize for the Detroit Tigers. The numbers aren't spectacular, but they have been winning with Casey Mize. 4-0 are the Tigers in Casey Mize's last 4 starts, even though the numbers haven't been great in those 4 outings. But he's been winning. They've been winning with him on the mound. This is just a clear pass for me. No bet. I don't want to lay this against Kansas City right now. Kansas City's playing for their playoff lives, too. They haven't not given up on the wild card in the American League. Why should they give up? They're right there still. And they've still got an opportunity to make it in as a wild card. They're only 2 games back, of Boston and Seattle, 2.5 back of the Yankees. And those are the 3 teams that have the wild card spots. So if you're Kansas City, you've still got a real chance to maybe sneak in as a wild card. So Detroit's playing well, though. I get there's people in the chat I see liking KC. I take the Royals before I take the Tigers, but I'm going to end up staying off. No bet here for me when it comes to this one. All right, the return of Shane Bieber. Finally, a Bieber that people in Canada can be proud of. He is on the mound tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays in his return. Shane Bieber, who has been obviously recovering from Tommy John surgery, finally back on a major league mound, starting in a major league game. Ryan Gusto on the mound for the Miami Marlins. We got the Blue Jays minus 150. Road favorites, 8 the total here in this game. We know if Bieber's looking like the old Bieber, he can go out there and mow down this Miami lineup. And he was very good in his rehab starts, in AAA with Buffalo, very good. But there's still that element of, do kind of want to see it here at the major league level. We know when this guy's right, he's as good as it gets. And we saw that when he won the Cy Young a few years ago. But it's been a long road back from this Tommy John surgery, a lot of rehab, and a lot of work to get back to this point for Shane Bieber. Will he be ready to rock for the Blue Jays in his first start back in the big leagues in, a couple of years, or, well, not a couple of years, but a year and a half? That remains to be seen here. But he did look good in his rehab starts, like I said, in AAA. And meanwhile, you got Ryan Gusto on the mound here for the Miami Marlins. And He's someone that I don't like. 5.38 ERA for him entering this start. Hasn't been great. I think it's a Toronto spot. I laid the -1 run line with Toronto, which you can get at -125. I actually think Bieber will pitch well. Now, they're probably be a little cautious. He's not going to throw 7-8 innings. He's probably going to go more in the 4, 5-6 variety. But like I said, pitched well down there. Blue Jays, too, didn't love the way they played against Pittsburgh, and I think they're going to want to get off to a good start down here in Miami. So I did take -1 on Toronto run line here in this one. C-Mac is in the house. What's up? How are you, C-Mac? What do you think here? Blue Jays and Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, Springer leads off the game with the bomb, and there's just zero, zilch.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Crazy.
For the Jays. I think they could score some runs. Just too many question marks, both pitchers. Gusto Higa got hit, gave up 5 runs in that last start. Can he be a little bit better? I think the value's with the Marlins because what do we get from Bieber? He looks pretty good. His arm, he's throwing 97, 98.
He's racking up the Ks down there, but again, maybe we'll see if he can do it at this level.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I mean, he should go if he pitches well. He had 6 innings too, but yeah, just road favorite here, like with the Jays. No way. I was leaning the Marlins.
All right, next up, we've got the Mets and the Braves here. We got Nolan McLean for the Mets, Joey Wentz for the Braves. The Braves rather slight home favorites, -115, 8.5 the total. I know the Mets have had some tough times lately, no doubt. They haven't played great baseball for quite some time. That's why they're barely hanging on now for the last wild card in the National League. And the Reds are only half a game behind the Mets for that last wild card. They dropped 2 of 3 against Washington, 4-6 in their last 10. They looked like they were turning a corner. They won a series against Seattle. They pounded Washington the first game, but to lose 2 in a row to the Nats is disappointing. I think there is value, though, now on the Mets. I like Nolan McLean pitched very well in his first start. So we'll see if he can keep that going, but there's no doubt he pitched well first time we saw him. I'm not the biggest fan of Joey Wentz. Now, I know he keeps pitching better than I expected. Last 2 outings, he's only given up a run, but like I said, I'd be a little bit leery of trusting Joey Wentz. I think the value is kind of on the Mets here. I know it's kind of a leap of faith, and maybe you want to just take them first 5 because that bullpen continues to be, outside of Edwin Diaz, that bullpen, who on earth can you count on for the Mets? That's one of their bigger issues. So, and because of that, I've been taking a lot of overs with the Mets. And these have been games where even if it starts off low scoring, these games have been flying over late because of the bullpen problems. So I lean over 8.5 too. C-Mac, what do you think? Mets, Braves.
There's just a couple games on today's card where I like the over. I thought this game was one. I mean, Wentz, he's been better on the road too in his starts, right?
Yeah, a little bit
for the most part
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been better. He's pitched well the last 2. It just seems like a spot. Now those last 2 are Cleveland and Miami. At times they can go, but he's a guy who walks a ton, so I could see him finally getting. I know the Mets, man, they suck. They got rain in this game. Is this game gonna go?
Chance. So I think they
might
start it up. Yeah.
Yeah, at least started. I kind of agree. I don't want to back the Mets. Braves playing better baseball, kind of free, nothing. I don't know. What if they rip off 10 more straight? I mean, I've seen wilder shit. So, yeah, pass.
There you go. Pass, but a lean to the over here, says C-Mac. Yeah, 60% chance of rain, so maybe there's a delay. But like I said, keep an eye on that. Doesn't look like it's going to rain all night there in Atlanta. All right, St. Louis, Tampa Bay. We've got Miles Michaelis and Adrian Hauser, the pitching matchup. Rays -140, home favorites, 9 the total. This is an over here for me. I mean, that wind at Steinbrenner Field there in Tampa, it's blowing out. It's warm. The ball's been flying there this week. Look at the game last night, Cardinals and Rays, first game of this series, an over there. Look at that Yankees-Rays series earlier this week in this ballpark. Tons of overs there. The ball's just flying right now all of a sudden down there in Tampa. 4 straight overs for the Rays. I don't trust Michaelis. I don't. He can still give up the home run ball. His road numbers are mediocre. So I think Tampa Bay can do some damage. Now, Adrian Hauser's the question because he's pitched pretty well overall, but he has struggled 3 starts in a row. He kind of struggled. He did right the ship, but did he right the ship or did he just face the San Francisco Giants? And that's why he righted the ship, because San Francisco hasn't hit for a while, but he did pitch a lot better. 5 innings. I bet Tampa here, minus 130. It went up to minus 140. I don't love the price, but I still side with Tampa Bay. I'll trust Hauser over Michaelis, but I like the over as well. I think because I could see Hauser getting hit, and I definitely think Tampa can hit Michaelis here in this spot. And like I said, it's certainly hitter's weather tonight in that little ballpark. C-Mac, what do you think, St. Louis, Tampa?
Yeah, back 2 home starts where he looked decent, Rockies and Yankees. I'm going to fade him, Michaelis here. I get what you like the runs. I'm going to take the Rays. This team can struggle to score runs, but the best number I got was plus 10, the first 5. I need a 3 spot, but I think him on the road, his ERA has been, near 7, I think, most of the year. So, yeah, I like the Rays, first 5 team total over 2.5 in this game.
All right, I'm throwing it to you. You got this one. I got nothing. Minnesota Twins, Chicago White Sox. I'm not laying, no chance am I laying minus 130 with the Twins right now. They stink. They are absolutely abominable right now, the Minnesota Twins. The A's just roll in there and dummy them in Minnesota, and I was on the A's pretty much in every game in that series. They are absolutely awful. There's no chance I'm laying a price on the road with the Twinks right now. That's just not going to happen. But the Chicago White Sox, taking them with Savali, who's not one of my favorites. So easy pass, easy. No bet. Didn't even get close to wanting any part of this one. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, well, there's no way I'm taking the Twins. I think the White Sox. Zebby Matthews, the kid's got good stuff, and I think he next year should be back, maybe back here at home. As the next start or 2, I'd have to look at the schedule. But I just think he gets hit around a little bit. Long ball is his problem. And I kind of faded him on the road. And in some way, I've backed him once or twice maybe at home. He had a good start against the Nats, where he went 6. The Royals early. I just think, he's not ready yet. Now, the White Sox, this team, I have to look at first 5. They were having late game wins. The bullpen's kind of fallen apart when I've had them a little bit lately. But I think they're the value here early. Savali is just kind of like, give me 4 innings here. Just get by. I think the White Sox, could get the Matthews here. I think they're live plus, 115.
Another one, I got nothing here. Cleveland, Texas, same thing. Texas minus 160, home favorite, 7.5 the total. I'm not, even with the price you're getting with Cleveland, with still a lot to play for, I don't like what I'm seeing from Cleveland. They're not playing good baseball. That was a terrible series at home against Atlanta. They got swept. Brutal loss against Arizona, that final game of that series. Brutal. Freaking brutal.
Pathetic.
And, yeah. Pathetic.
So many at-bats.
Yeah, they
can't get a hit. Yeah.
It's brutal, right? I don't want him, especially against Eovaldi. Eovaldi is he's dealing right now. He's had a great season overall. But the counter argument is minus 160 with Texas? No way. Easy pass. Yeah. Easy pass. C-Mac.
I know. And but are they going to score runs? I don't see it. We have a 7.5. Opens 8, spot 7.5. This line, they open 170. All the money's on Texas. Yet this is dropped, to 150. I think the Guardians are live in the game, but I got to think it's low scoring.
That I do kind of like.
3-2 game.
Under.
He's been so bad the last few starts. I gotta think he pitches a little better here. We're against the Rangers team. We've talked all year.
Hit the shits, but I think this could be a get back spot. Yep, get back.
Yeah,
yep.
Great park unders. It's like dare these fucking teams to score some runs. So I like the under in this game, and Cleveland. It's tough to watch that unfold, and he just throws a cock shot to Gurriel to tie it. And they should have scored probably 3 to 4 runs in those first 2 innings. Bases loaded. They had all these, and I think they had opportunities again in the 4th. There was first and second, maybe 1 out. It can be a rough watch
Yeah.
with
Good show.
the Guardians. Both these
Welcome to
lineups, really.
baseball betting. You're going to lose a few like that. It's just at some point
Yeah.
it's going to happen. One of those goes against you where
Yeah.
you have no business losing, and unfortunately you do. All right, next up, San Francisco and Milwaukee. Brewers minus 170, home favorites. Total here, 8.5 across the board. Milwaukee is coming back to earth. Now, they did get the last game of that series against Chicago, but Cubs were able to beat them a few times. You're laying a big price here, big number. Now, look, Quintana, 1 run allowed in each of his last 2 starts against the Pirates and Reds. Very good. We'll see what Carson Wisenhunt can bring, the lefty, here for the San Francisco Giants. Worth noting, is he's got 5 innings pitched on the road, giving up just 1 earned run, but a very, very small sample size. He was getting rocked in San Francisco. So how will he fare here in this game is going to end up being the question. San Francisco, they scored 4 runs in the last game of that San Diego series, 4 runs in the first game of that San Diego series, and then in between they did what they often do, and that's not do anything on offense and score 1 run in those 2 games. So I'm torn on this game side, and I'm not torn on the side. It's Milwaukee or nothing, but the value is just not that great. So again, this no bet for me. C-Mac, what do you think?
I totally agree. Just the price here is big for the Brewers. Like in this spot too, team total, maybe for them because at home I don't want the run line really. You got to think just a loss at bat.
Maybe
just
minus 1 run
extra
line
there.
to minimize the juice. I could consider it, but
yeah,
I don't love this coming off the Cubs series, and they played an extra game because there was a doubleheader in there.
the doubleheader.
I don't love that, spot wise for Milwaukee.
Giants just been awful. They're just nothing has changed. Like even those games, the Padres they got a couple runs early in some of those games, and it just was like the same old, just a whole lot of nothing. And then you're seeing bitching in the dugout. They want Melvin gone. It's pretty rough, San Francisco. Right now.
It sure is. All right, go to the West Coast action now. Chicago Cubs, Los Angeles Angels. We didn't have any. I don't think we had. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Now we've got. It looks like RotoWire says Ben Brown and Tyler Anderson are the probables. So we didn't have pitchers really on either side, but that's looking like where these teams are going to go. And they've been using Ben Brown as a bit of a opener or long relief type of guy lately. The Cubs, but it looks like Ben Brown will start here. Tyler Anderson for the Angels. Cubs minus 145. Road favorites 9.5. Hate to be a broken record, but again, this is the time of year where I tighten the belt. I don't need to bet every single game on the board. And this is another one. We're coming off the Milwaukee series. Do I want to lay $145 on the road with the Cubs where they've been worse this year? No. Am I all that excited about backing the Angels though? No. So no need to bet it. No need. Maybe the under. Could you sneak an under out of this game at 9.5?
That's what I was looking at.
Ben Brown's pitching better. He's been pitching better. He pitched well against Toronto in a recent long relief role in that series. So maybe he can neutralize the Angels a bit. Tyler Anderson can junk it up and maybe keep the Cubs at bay for a bit in a tough spot, traveling out there after a big series against Milwaukee. So, and spot-wise, I don't hate taking a shot, Corey, with the Angels. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'd be weary of the Cubs and the Brewers tonight coming off that series head-to-head, that big divisional series. So no bet, but maybe lean Angels, maybe lean under. What do you think here?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd be on too. I haven't bet it. Cubs just under team. One of the bats going to come alive. It's just rough. Even though it did a little bit. Tucker, guy's got a fracture in his hand. Like, what the fuck was he doing out there? I mean, what is going on?
If he can't contribute at 100% and he's a detriment when he goes up to the plate, why is he in there? Yeah. That you got to ask. Counsell to me is an overrated manager. I'm just going to call it like I see it.
Well, I always thought that, yeah. For
Where's
sure.
the playoff series that guy won when he managed Milwaukee?
I'll tell you.
Zip. Yeah.
0
No.
right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, head to head, there's under. Angels have played some more overs. I know the last game it was 2-1 there, the Reds, but before that, the last couple weeks, the bats have got going. So yeah, I thought the total was a little high, and Angels is the dog here, feisty, bunch of Cub love.
Yeah, I'm starting to think I might even sprinkle on the Angels just because I don't really like this spot very much for the Cubs. We'll see if the Angels can take advantage of that. All right, Cincinnati and Arizona. We've got Zach Little for the Reds and Ryan Nelson for the Diamondbacks. Arizona minus 130, home favorites, 9 being the total here in this game. We'll have to see how it goes with these two. These are two pitchers that have been up and down. Little's been good start, bad start, good start, bad start. That's been kind of the pattern with him. And Ryan Nelson, kind of the same shit. Good start, bad start, good start. Now he's had a couple of bad starts in a row. 9 runs allowed in his last 11 innings or so. He does seem to have better numbers at home. Maybe that helps him here. I lean over a little bit. But even then, what are you going to get from the offenses, you could then say, because, the Reds have had games where they've scored 6-8 runs, and then games like the last one against the Angels, they only score 1. And the Diamondbacks lineup's kind of been a little up and down of late. But something tells me this could be a game where we see some runs. I do lean over. I do have a small over bet here. C-Mac, Reds, Diamondbacks.
There's no way. I know Nelson's at home. He's been pretty good. Maybe you look at them first 5. This is the Reds. It's just like, dude, can the Reds win these games? Like, they already swept the D-backs earlier in the year when they first played them. I can't remember. When was that? In June?
Yeah, it was way back. It was early in the year. Yep. Earlier in the year. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I forget.
Early June. Yep. Cincinnati
early June.
All 3. Yep.
So I just, like, this seems like take the Dogs a little bit of a trap in this game. So I'm off, even though I'd be on the Reds. Tough to take. And what do you get? Like, I could see him just getting a run or two. Nelson shuts him down, or maybe they can get to him a little bit and then get to the bullpen. Arizona bullpen. Well, when you play a horrible offense as the Guardians, I guess it can make you look a little bit better.
All right, for the second weekend in a row, the battle for the NL West resumes. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. These two teams are something else, I'll tell you that. Dodgers minus 125, road favorites, 8 the total. You can't script this shit. If you're San Diego, you got to be thinking to ourselves, we've got to finally beat these fucking guys. Because other than the Dodgers sweeping the Padres at Dodger Stadium last weekend, look what they've done other than that. They get swept by the Angels. They're very fortuitous to get out of Colorado with a split in those 4 games against the Rockies. That was not a good series, in my opinion, even though it was a split for the LA Dodgers. And yet somehow, with all these concerns and issues for the Padres, it's like a hex or a curse, or it's like a monkey on their back, piano on their back. They can't beat the Dodgers. And, so I'm done waiting for it to happen. I got to see it now before I believe it, that San Diego can beat the LA Dodgers. They're beating everybody else pretty well. But again, beating the Dodgers is the issue. They got a glorious opportunity. We're going to find out if they're worth a shit, the Padres. You got embarrassed last weekend. Didn't win a game. Dodgers, rolled you in all 3 games. This is where, if we're the Padres, we're going to see if they're worth their salt. Because at some point, you got to step up and win a game against these guys, especially when the Dodgers have shown so many issues and vulnerabilities against everybody else they play. So, if you're the Padres, it's time to show up. But I'm not betting it till I see it. And I don't want to go against Snell, because Snell has been really, really good in his last 2 starts, as in not giving up a single run good, in his last 2 starts for the Dodgers. So, I'm not trusting the Padres to beat the Dodgers till I see it. There's a pass for me. It's a great game to watch. Fascinating. What are we going to get from Darvish? Darvish has been one of those guys since rejoining the Padres rotation. His numbers aren't good overall, 6.08, but it's been bad, good, bad, good, bad. Bad against the Cardinals, good against the Mets, bad against the Diamondbacks, good against the Giants, bad against the Padres against the Dodgers his last start. Darvish. If you follow the pattern, he's going to pitch well tonight. But the Dodgers did hit him for 4 runs, 4 innings, 2 homers in Dodger Stadium last weekend. We'll see if Darvish can turn that around. One thing I will say, Snell faced the Padres last weekend, shut him out. Darvish faced the Dodgers last weekend, and now the same 2, which we think are pretty good lineups, are going to face these 2 pitchers again. I'm kind of tempted to look over a very low total of 8. but I'm going to bet it just small if I do. C-Mac, what do you think here?
That is a little thing, seeing these guys again.
Yeah.
They've seen each other a ton. If I look to Freddie Freeman, who hit the homer in that game, one of the only guys who has really good numbers against Darvish, really.
Yep.
I mean, he's, 267. He has four bombs in that one. I mean, everyone else, the average just isn't really great, and they've seen him a ton. Betts, 8 for 47. Will Smith, 6 for 35. Conforto, this guy, at least he's 5 for 20. I guess that's good for him. Hernandez, 3 for 17. On Shohei's 2 for 13. That's the little that they just saw each other. But I think Darvish pitches better. And he's been the fade every road start. His home starts have been better. 3 home starts have been very good. 1, he gave up 4 to the Phillies. I remember that lingered a little bit. And I think I had the Phillies over their team total in that game. So I think he's going to pitch better here at home. And Dodgers after leaving Colorado. I just think it's a tight game. I like the other way here on the total under.
All right, under the total here for C-Mac with Dodgers and Padres. All right, our last game of this Friday, MLB slate. I think we have one more. Yeah, we do. Athletics and Mariners. We've got Morales on the mound here for the A's. Against Brian Wu, Luis Morales, Brian Wu, the pitching matchup. Seattle minus 200. Big home favorites here. Total 8 shaded to the under here in this game. I'm tempted to take the A's at this price. I don't like what I'm seeing out of Seattle. Bullpen is imploding. Pitching is really hurt. And I like Wu. And this is someone that's backed Wu quite a bit. I like Brian Wu. I think he's a really good pitcher. I usually like backing him, especially at home. But holy shit, minus 200. With what I've seen out of the Mariners here in recent games. And they're coming back from a road trip out east, playing in Philly, and you're coming all the way back now to the East Coast here for this series against the A's. The A's are traveling, too. They're coming from Minnesota, not nearly as long, though. We'll see how it goes. Not to mention, now I know it's a small sample size. It's 2 starts for Luis Morales. But 1 run in 7.2 innings is pretty solid. I guess the one thing I would caution you is 7 walks in those 2 games. That he's got to do a better job of.
Yeah, he's
at some point the walks might come back to bite him a little bit, but it's just it's too expensive on Seattle with what I'm seeing from them of late. It's A's or pass for this better. C-Mac, what do you think here? Athletics, Seattle.
I get it. The price. I'm like, Wu's been really good at home, and Morales, he looked pretty good during the year, even here in AAA.
Yep.
With Vegas, he's been working on a bunch of his pitches, but the Mariners just haven't been. This was tough. This line is a little bit like they're going to get to him, I think, but shit, I couldn't do it. I agree with you here. I think the A's. I'd take them. That's for sure. I've been looking at them a bunch too. I might have a bet on them.
All right, good stuff. There you have it. That's the Friday MLB card. And before we get to best bets and wrap things up, Jack of the day, any home run props, C-Mac, that catch your eye for tonight?
Yeah, I hit it. Freddie Freeman. I look at him. A couple others. Bellinger. I think he's got a good matchup for Spayo. 3 for 5, couple bombs. Good number, too. Plus 500. Bellinger. With the Astros, I think the Astros finally scored some runs. I think they can again.
I like
my guy.
Pena's hit one against Povich, and Pena's like a crazy good price.
Pena's great. So's Walker. I bring up both those guys.
Yeah.
I'm a little off with Christian Walker. Normally, he's like one of the best ROI for Jacks, RBI. Ian Happ, Brian Reynolds. There's just some of these guys that have been just cashed. I've been a little bit off from him. He went a yard yesterday. Walker did, I think, in that game in the first. But yes, I like those guys too. I like Correa. Correa, good numbers too. I think he's 4 for 8 with a homer, maybe 2 homers. And I was going through that. So yes, I think look for some of those Stros against the lefty that they need to get to score some runs after looking horrible for about 4 games. They couldn't score anything.
Yeah, as far as, I like those 2 that Nick mentioned, Caminero for the Rays and Joe Adell for the Angels. I could see that definitely. I'm going to throw out the old man because he actually has hit one against Antonio Senzatella, and that's Andrew McCutchen of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why not? He's hit one against Senzatella. I know it's not the old Andrew McCutchen. Father Time has knocked on his door. He's not that same hitter anymore, but still, he's got a home run against Senzatella. I'll take a shot there with him maybe to go yard in that game. All right, there you have it. Shout out to the chat. We'll get to best bets in a moment. Hope everyone's having a good end of their week, and hope you all have a good weekend coming up. Ross Pitts, Corey, Nick Alvento, Nuke Worker. Nuke Worker I'll be seeing with Jimmy the Bag. Jimmy the Bag's organized a Woodbine racetrack in Toronto get-together, and I'm making my way down to join everybody there tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Nuke Worker will be there. I'll be there. Jimmy the Bag, Gundam Atticus, Tone Miggins, Mark A., Thomas Maggio, Pittsburgh Penguins, Jeffrey Blue. Appreciate all you guys joining us here. Talk Sports with JT, Stephen Hairston, Jorge Herrera, Oven Fresh. Thanks to everyone for joining us here on the show. Timothy Hake and Don't Wake Daddy. Awesome stuff. Thanks to everybody. Jeff Matthews. Thank you to everyone joining us. And make sure, again, one last time, and this will be the last time I mention it, College Football Week 0 preview show. We recorded it on Monday. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already.
Yes.
We reposted the clips, Connor and I, of the individual games that we previewed from that show. So make sure you check it out. We are excited. Less than 24 hours from now, college football will be back in our lives.
Finally.
Finally. Cannot wait. I know it's a small slate, not a ton of marquee games, although that game in Ireland's pretty good. Pretty good Big 12 game to get it started. But I'll be into it still. Hey, I get into Sam Houston and Western Kentucky and Hawaii and Stanford and Idaho State and UNLV. I get into every game. Even if it's
well, I might not be into every game, but I got money. I'm into it. So let's just put it that way.
No doubt. Certainly. Yeah. Next week, though, when we do the show Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Monday, college football hitting the books. We'll be talking week 1. We have some big ones. We have some doozies next week. You got Clemson, LSU. You got Texas, Ohio State. Like, you've got some really big time first game of the season showdowns for some of these teams next week.
Big games, yeah.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Auburn, Baylor sliding under the radar too. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
No question. So yeah, some good ones to talk about next week for sure. Very much looking forward to it. All right, let's wrap the show up. Best bets time. C-Mac, what do you got for best bet?
Let's get it. Shout out to everyone in here. I know you hit them all, but Nuke, Jay Stone, Jeff, all you guys, Thomas, Corey, Ross Pitts, my man, how's it going? Appreciate it. Hit the like button. Tell us what you're on too in those games. Always hit up the comments. Tell breakdowns shitty or who you like, whatever. Blah blah blah. I always love the comments in the football games. Yeah, I was gonna go White Sox here, first 5, but I'm going under here. Guardians, Rangers, under 7.5, even money, under.
I'm going Red Sox, Yankees over 8.5. I mentioned it. I don't love Fried's form. I don't know if I fully trust Bayo, who can still give up the odd home run. And I think Boston's live too, but I like the over even more in that game. 8.5. And both bullpens are spent. These bullpens have been worked hard lately for the Red Sox and the Yankees. So I think we can get over that total. We got 9 runs last night. Why can't we get 9 tonight? So Red Sox, Yanks in the Bronx over 8.5. For my best.
Fried, never been the same since the blister after just unbelievable start.
In his last 21 innings.
Yeah. I just, you know what the thing with the Yankees, I say the Red Sox were the only play. The defense again yesterday. Do they have 3 or 4 errors? They're just not.
People is a veteran.
Yeah, I know.
First base. Played that.
Well, now he's just old. Yeah, he's always very good defensively, but yeah, it's just like, wow, man. Crazy.
It's crazy how 4. They had 4 in one game last night.
4. Yeah, 4. Okay. Yeah. I lose counts when you're fucking that bad.
How good Roman Anthony
shit.
For the Boston.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Big 2-run shot in the 9th inning to put it
I don't think he's a leadoff hitter, of course, but I mean, they have him there now.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be more of the 2 or 3, but still. Yeah,
and another reason I took Boston in that game is because I'm daring the Yankees to beat a good team. I don't care that you swept the Cardinals. I don't care that you swept the Rays. I don't care that you won 2 or 3 against Minnesota. Beat somebody good.
Red Sox have owned them too a little bit the last couple of years. Yeah. This year especially, I think. Yeah.
And that's their issue.
Definitely.
Toronto's owned them. Boston's owned. They've struggled with everybody in that division except for, I think, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's, I think, the only team. I heard Michael Kay say this the other night. Tampa Bay's the only team that the Yankees have a winning record against in the AL East.
And that's just a flip because of both these. Because it used to be, for the last 5 or 6 years, the Rays would always kind of beat up on the Yankees. Remember that?
Yeah.
For this year. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy numbers.
I'm okay taking Boston at that price tonight, knowing the Yankees struggles against good competition. All right. We never struggle to have a good show. And we did once again. Great shows this week. Shout out to everybody. Hit the like button on the way out. That's it. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back Monday. College football hitting the books, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Monday. And we will be back for you for that. College football hitting the books. Until then, class dismissed.